Greetings YouTubers and welcome to my 49th TTM video, where today I will share with you 4 TTMs I got. Yes, 4. Been a banner day. Can't argue with that. And I will give some shout outs to some great channels as well. First, I want to give a shout out to my man NB Collectibles, Mr. Alvida up there in Canada. Great guy with a great channel, and I got this card and a giveaway there. Well, he did an opening. Connor Garland of the Phoenix Coyotes, the Upper Deck Canvas. He does a lot of great giveaways, points games, a lot of fun on his channel. Check him out. He's a great guy. The Coyotes, a little shout out to Desert Hockey Breaks. I know he's a big Coyotes fan as well, so check out NB. Thank you for that nice card. And also a shout out to Vintage Cards 2020. Just started really watching them. Great channel. Had a great Ted Williams pickup recently. A baseball card. It was 56, I believe. But he got some great cards in recently, so give him a check if you can. And also a shout out to 12 Again Sports and Outdoors. Danny there in Tennessee. He's got a great channel. Just showed some cards he picked up, 74 cards, like this Thurman Munson card, and I suppose when the weather gets better he'll be doing some more stuff outdoors, but give him a look-see. And we also got Hoover and Sons Sports Cards, another fine channel. You want to check them out. And fourth, I like to do 4, let's open some packs. And that's what they do. That's what he does, opens a pack, and great information, great fun. So check those out if you haven't, those 4. They're all fine channels. If you like them, give them a sub. Be very appreciative of that, I'm sure. All right, let's get started. Today I got 4 TTMs. I was so excited to see 4. The first one comes all the way from North Carolina. It took about 2 weeks. There was no fee. This person didn't sign the index card, but that's okay. He signed the 2 cards I sent to him. He's a former NFL player, played great in college, and is also a former member of the United States House of Representatives. Yes, a congressman. And that is Heath Schuler. Signed that card in Tennessee, and then signed this card. It says New Orleans Saints on it. Oops, get my hand out of there. It says New Orleans Saints on it, but he's wearing a Washington uniform. Put my name on both. Terrific, because I ain't selling them, so I like that. I like Tennessee football, not as much as I like Notre Dame. That's my number 1 team, but Tennessee would be in the top 5 for sure. Joseph Heath Schuler, goes by his middle name, was born on December 31st, 1971 in Bryson City, North Carolina. Native of the Tar Heel State. Born on New Year's Eve, no less. Bryson City is a small town in the Great Smoky Mountains, which is near the Tennessee border. His dad was a mail carrier, so thank you for that. He went to Swain County High School in Bryson City, and he led his team to 2 state championships. He was also named the North Carolina High School Player of the Year. His great play, he accepted a scholarship to play at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. He played under Coach Johnny Majors and then under Coach Phil Fulmer, 2 coaches there. At Tennessee, when he left his senior year, he held nearly all of UT's passing records, which were eventually eclipsed by some guy by the name of Peyton Manning. I don't know whatever happened to that guy. Hope he had a good NFL career. In college, he threw for 4,089 yards, had a 61.6 completion percentage, threw 36 touchdowns, 12 picks, and his passer rating was 147. In 1993, he was the runner-up for the Heisman Trophy. Who won that year? Guy from Florida State by the name of Charlie Ward. In the 1994 NFL Draft, he was picked in the first round with the 3rd pick by the Washington team. Washington football team, whatever you want to call them. I think they should just stick with Washington football team. It's kind of like those soccer teams, Sporting Club FC and all that stuff. Yeah. He played in the NFL from 1994 to 1998 with Washington, the New Orleans Saints, and was in training camp with the Oakland Raiders but got cut. Now, during training camp, he held out until he received a 7-year, $19.25 million contract. And I lived in the area at that time when he was holding out, and they just turned against him. The media, it seemed, was against him, and he had no chance. It's a rough football town if you're a quarterback and you don't win. Heath Shuler's poor play led to a quarterback controversy with the 7th-round pick Gus Frerotte. And fans, people in the area really started to back Gus Frerotte after Shuler threw 5 interceptions in a 19-16 loss to the Arizona Cardinals. And eventually Gus Frerotte got the job, and he signed a big contract and then slammed his head into a wall after a touchdown. It was never the same. A lot that happens to Washington quarterbacks. They sign these big contracts and seem to get hurt. Heath Shuler started 18 games in his first 2 years and was benched in his third. After the 96 season, he was traded to the New Orleans Saints for a couple of draft picks. He suffered a serious foot injury during the 1997 season in New Orleans and was never the same really after that. He had 2 surgeries to try to fix the injury, but didn't work. He signed with the Oakland Raiders in 1999, but re-injured his foot and was cut in training camp. He eventually went back to the University of Tennessee to get a degree in psychology and became a real estate agent in Knoxville. Did really well there. He was elected to the United States House of Representatives in 2006 from North Carolina when he defeated incumbent Representative Charles Taylor, 54% to 46%, in North Carolina's 11th District. He served in the House of Representatives from 2007 until 2013. That's 6 years, and that is 3 terms, because they served 2 years for a term. In 2012, he announced he would not run again for re-election. Currently, he's a lobbyist with Duke Energy. His NFL career, he threw for 3,691 yards, 15 touchdowns, 33 interceptions, and he was the 1983 Southeastern Conference Player of the Year. So, thank you, Mr. Shuler. Put Go Vols on the Tennessee one. That's nice. Came out really well. And then the Saints one where he's wearing a Washington uniform. But appreciate it very much. Again, that was no fee from North Carolina. It took about 14 days. Next one came in from California, the City of Angels, Los Angeles. It took 10 days. There was no fee from this basketball player, and that is Mr. Lucius Allen. Got him on the Seattle Supersonics card. And then here with the Lakers, he signed my name. So get there both times. 2 Ed. Cool. I don't mind that at all. And he also signed the index card. Ed, good luck with your collection. Lucius. That was very nice, too. I appreciate that. Let's see if we can get that in there a little better. All right. So, Mr. Lucius Allen. Lucius Oliver Allen, Jr., born on September 26, 1947 in Kansas City, Kansas. He's 73. And I'll say what high school he went to. I hope I don't botch the name up, but I might. Wyandotte High School in Kansas City, Kansas. He led Wyandotte to back-to-back state championships in 1964 and 65. In 1999, the Topeka Capital Journal named Allen the greatest Kansas high school basketball player of the 20th century. So that's quite an honor to get. He attended UCLA from 1966 to 68 because back then freshmen could not play on the varsity team. 2 times he was on the NCAA championship team in 1967 and 68 and played with a guy by the name of Lou Alcindor, who you know better now as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He was suspended his senior year for possessing a small amount of marijuana. In the 1969 NBA draft, he was selected in the first round with the 3rd pick by the Seattle Supersonics. And I hope the Emerald City does get a team back. They deserve it. They're now known as they went to Oklahoma City. If you didn't know that. Sure most of you do. His NBA career went from 1969 to 79, where he played in Seattle, Milwaukee, Los Angeles with the Lakers, and in Kansas City with the Kings, who are now known as the Sacramento Kings. He scored 9,407 points, about 13.4 a game, 2,205 rebounds, about 3.1, and 3,175 assists, about 4.5 a game. In 1971, he won an NBA title with the Milwaukee Bucks, and that guy, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, was on that team as well. He was a second-team All-American in 1968 and was also inducted into the Pac-12 Men's Basketball Hall of Honor. So Lucius Allen, 10 days, no fee, out of California. Signed the index card and also the two big cards here, two big cards, Seattle and the Laker one. So you're interested in sending that out. Heath Schuler was nice enough to put stamp on the envelope, non-machinable, so that was nice of him. Now our third TTM for today. This one took about 5 months, and it came out of Montana. There was no fee. And no, it's not Evel Knievel, I can assure you of that. But this guy, well, some people say he put up a video saying he can't sign all the, let me get the glare out of there, all the, let's take this out of the holder, it's getting beat up. He can't sign all the letters and cards he gets or what have you. But hey, I'll take it as his signature, and that's Phil Jackson. Signed it right there with the Lakers. Hopefully I can get this other guy, Pat Riley, to sign it. It'd be nice to get him on it. But as far as I'm concerned, it's Phil Jackson's auto because I ain't selling it. Philip Douglas Jackson, better known as Phil. Born on September 17th, 1945 in Deer Lodge, Montana. He's 75. His parents were Assemblies of God's ministers. They both did. His father, I think, did the morning, and his mother did the night, ministering, preaching. He grew up with his family in a remote area of Montana, an environment in which there was no dancing and no television. Wasn't allowed. Phil Jackson did not see his first movie until he was a senior in high school, and he went to a dance for the first time in college. Growing up, he just assumed he was going to be a minister like his parents. He attended high school in Williston, North Dakota, and he led his basketball team to a state title. He also played football and then was a pitcher on the baseball team and threw the discus in track and field events. His brother Chuck said that all three Jackson sons became so passionate about athletics was because it was the only time they were allowed to do what other children were doing. Jackson attracted the attention of several baseball scouts while in high school, and their notes eventually found their way to a former baseball coach who did some scouting for the Atlanta Braves and had become the head basketball coach at the University of North Dakota, and this guy's name was Bill Fitch. Yes, the same Bill Fitch who's in the Basketball Hall of Fame. He attended the University of North Dakota, which is in Grand Forks, North Dakota, from 1964 to 67. He helped the team to third and fourth place finishes in the NCAA 2 tournament in his sophomore and junior years. Both years they were eliminated or beaten by Southern Illinois University, which was led by Walt Frazier, yes, a future teammate of his, Clyde. In the 1967 NBA draft, he was picked in the second round with the 17th pick by the New York Knicks. He played from 1967 to 1980 and played with the Knicks and finished up with the New Jersey Nets. He became one of the NBA's leading players off the bench. He was a solid defensive player. Twice was on NBA winning championship teams as a player in 1970 and 73. He started coaching after his playing career had ended, and he coached in the Continental Basketball Association, which isn't around anymore. And he also coached in Puerto Rico. He became an assistant coach in 1987 with the Chicago Bulls under Doug Collins, and 2 years later, in 1989, became their head coach. He was a devotee of Tex Winter's triangle offense. And he coached the Chicago Bulls from 1989 to 1998. His teams made the playoffs every year. After the 1998 championship, he left Chicago saying he would never coach again. Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of guys before. So in 1999, he became head coach of the Lakers, coached them from 1999 to 2004, and then came back from 2005 to 2011. The Lakers won 5 championships with him as head coach, and the Bulls had won 6 championships, so a total of 11 championships as a coach, 2 as a player. That's a total of 13. 4 times he was the NBA All-Star Game coach, and he was NBA Coach of the Year just once. Yes, once, in 1996. I was a little shocked when I saw that. He's one of the top 10 coaches in NBA history. Was also a CBA champion in 1984, and was Coach of the Year in the CBA in 1985. He is in the Basketball Hall of Fame as a coach. In his playing days, he scored 5,428 points, about 6.7, had 3,454 rebounds, about 4.3, and 898 assists, 1.1, not a lot there. But as a coach in the NBA, he had 1,155 victories, 485 losses. His winning percentage was 70.4. So, if you don't mind getting an autograph that may or may not be Phil Jackson's, hey, worth it to me, because, I like it. And last, but certainly not least, is a baseball. Took 14 days, came from Maine. I spent $20, but it was well worth it. And that is this guy. I can straighten him out there. Mr. Louis Tiant. Get him a little closer. I sent $20. I think his fee is like $15, but I put in the extra $5 so he would sign on the ball 75 AL champs, which he was on. He's now charging, but hey, that's a great autograph. It was cheaper than, going to a show or getting it online. I do have him on a ball that I got outside Fenway Park many years ago at his stand there he had, and he just signed the ball, nothing on it, but this one I wanted to get that. So Luis Clemente Tiant Vega, born on November 23rd, 1940 in Mariano, Cuba, 80 years of age. The son of Louis Tiant Sr. is the only child of his mother and father. Louis Tiant Sr. was a pitcher from 1926 to 1948 in the Negro Leagues, a great left-handed pitcher. Played for the New York Cubans during the summer, and in the winter would head back to Cuba and play in the Cuban Professional League. Louis started to play in the local and juvenile leagues, and in 1957 was picked up for the Cuban Juvenile League All-Star team. And while pitching in Cuba, former Cleveland Indians star Bobby Avila, he was scouting for talent in Cuba, recommended him to the Mexico City Tigers of the Mexican League, and he was signed for $150 a month. In 1961, because of Avila's recommendation, Cleveland purchased his contract for $35,000. But with the rise of Fidel Castro in Cuba, and after the failed Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961, this essentially made it impossible for Louis Tiant to go back to Cuba, because if he did, he wasn't coming back to the United States. So he wouldn't see his parents for another 14 years. On July 19th, 1964, he made his Major League debut in New York, the Bronx, Yankee Stadium against, yes, the Yankees. Whitey Ford was the other pitcher in that game, and Tiant beat them 3-0, struck out 11. Finished his rookie year in 1964 with 10 wins and 4 losses, struck out 105 with a 2.83 ERA in just 19 games. He was a fireballer in his early days before his injuries. And then he had to change, and he did. He adapted. He played from 1964 to 82, played with Cleveland, Minnesota, Boston, New York Yankees, Pittsburgh, and the Angels. 1968 was probably his best season overall. The year of the pitcher, he had a 1.60 ERA. He led the American League. He had 9 shutouts. He was 21-9, and opposing batters only had a 168 average against him. He struck out 19 Minnesota Twins on July 3rd in a 10-inning game. Well, he had an injury in 1969 that really plagued him throughout the year with his arm. And he was eventually traded to the Minnesota Twins for Dean Chance and Greg Nettles. In 1970, he started with the Twins, but fractured his scapula, ending his season. He was released in 1971, and the Atlanta Braves signed him to a minor league contract to play at their Richmond, Virginia team in AAA. Did so well that the Louisville Colonels, which was the Boston Red Sox AAA team, acquired him. He was called back to the majors in 1971, never looked back, and regained his old form. He changed a lot, done a lot more junk and, doing the twitches and all that, but it worked. In 1975, even with the back problems he had, he won 18 games for the team that would go on to win the American League Championship, the Red Sox. They upset the 3-time defending World Series champs, the Oakland A's, in the ALCS. That was a big upset. And lost in 7 games to the Cincinnati Reds, the Big Red Machine in the 75 World Series. But Tiant, boy, if the Red Sox had won, I guess he would have been the MVP. He won Game 1 of the 75 World Series, and parents attended the game. after then Senator George McGovern of South Dakota got Fidel Castro to allow them to leave Cuba to see their son pitch in the major leagues in the World Series. Senator McGovern said that he went to Fidel Castro and wanted to talk to him about Louis Tiant. And Fidel Castro looked at him and said, "Which one, senior or junior?" So they're both well known in Cuba. Tiant and the Red Sox beat Cincinnati 6-0, one of the few times the Big Red Machine was shut out. He would go on to win Game 4 and had a no decision in the famous Game 6 of that World Series. Some call it the greatest World Series ever. For me personally, it was 1986. That, Mets-Red Sox series was great. And both of those playoff series, Red Sox-Angels and Mets-Astros, those are great playoff series as well. After the 1978 season, he signed with the Yankees as a free agent. Played there just for 79 and 80. And then eventually played 9 games for the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1981 and 6 games for the Angels in 1982. He pitched in the Venezuela League as well in his younger days, and also the Senior Professional Baseball League. His overall career record, 229 wins, 172 losses, 3.30 ERA, 2,416 strikeouts. And this guy should be in the Hall of Fame. He definitely should be. He was a member of the 1970 Twins, which won the American League West, and eventually lost to the Orioles in the playoffs. And then, of course, the 1975 Red Sox. He's a member of the Hispanic Heritage Baseball Museum Hall of Fame, the Venezuela Baseball Hall of Fame, and the Boston Red Sox Hall of Fame. So hopefully he'll be alive when they induct him in Cooperstown. On January 6, 1983, he appeared in an episode of Cheers, now pitching Sam Malone, where Sam was going to do a beer commercial. So again, took 2 weeks, paid $20, paid up so I can get the inscription, and you want to, great price for a guy like Louis Tiant. Alright, this one ran a little bit long. I do apologize for that, but hey, like all these guys, and it's been a while since I got 4 in the box. I do want to thank everyone for participating in the giveaway. Your gifts, prizes, whatever you want to call them, will be going out hopefully tomorrow or Saturday at the latest. If you're new to the channel, and you hit the like button. If you're a subscriber already, hit the like button if you liked it. If you didn't like it, well, you can send me emails on how to fix it, but subscribe anyway. Maybe I'll have something you like, as I always say. I do thank everyone again for being a subscriber to the channel. It means a lot, all your support and your comments. I do try to respond to everyone. Let's support each other in this community, because it's a great community. It's a lot of fun. That's why I do it. That's why everybody does it, really. Go out and be nice to one person, and just pass it along, and eventually everybody will be nice. And go out and support everyone, Everybody should get to 1,000. I do want to give 2 shout-outs to HOF Cards. Haas just hit 2,000 subscribers. Awesome. And Klummps Kards, he just hit 100, so congratulations, you two. Tonight, we will say good night, Colorado.